Welcome to the 8th episode of Tech Manitoba video series Connected. In this episode, we'll take a look at emails, how to set up a free account, how to send an email, and help you get connected with friends and family. For this episode, you'll require a computer and internet connectivity, which we looked at in previous episodes. Let's get you to set up a Google email account called Gmail. Emails also a way to exchange messages, documents, photos, and video using electronic devices. You can use a desktop computer, a tablet, a phone, and even smartwatches. There are many email client softwares available, but Gmail is the most popular and it's free to use. So we'll open our Microsoft Edge and type in gmail.com in the address bar. It'll take us to the Gmail site, and we want to create an account, so we'll click on the link. Before we begin, you'll need a cell phone because one of the steps when you register is that they send you a confirmation number by text that you have to enter on the site so they can be sure that you are who you say you are. If you don't have one, find someone who does and can help you through these steps, please. It only takes a few minutes to complete the entire registration. I'm going to use my dad's name because he doesn't have a Gmail account. You'll see that it's pretty self-explanatory. They ask you for your first name, so click in the spot and type it. If you make a mistake, just backspace or delete and start again. They ask for a username. This will be the name that people use to email you. Logically, your full name would make sense, but you'll be surprised at how many people have the exact same name as you and have already claimed it. So you might have to be creative. Maybe add your middle initials or use your nickname. Just remember, you might have to use this email for a job application one day, so using a sexy or silly name isn't really a good idea. Google will prompt you for a password. They ask for a minimum of 8 characters with a mix of letters, numbers, and symbols. People like to use the same password for everything, but this is not wise. Don't use your spouse or children's names or pets or anything that's obvious. Try to use a combination that doesn't make sense. A good strong password will use upper and lowercase and numbers and symbols, and the longer the better. Try to be creative, but still be something that you can remember. There's loads of advice on how to create passwords, but one is to think of something very familiar to you and make it a sentence. So, for instance, I adore my grandmother's home-baked cinnamon buns. Now, take the first letter of each word in that sentence. I-A-M-G-H-B-C-B. It makes no sense to anyone but you. I capitalized the G for grandmother. You should have a number, so let's say I usually eat 3 cinnamon buns. Add 3 to the password. I-A-M, capital G, H-B-C-B, 3. You should have a symbol, so I'm going to add an asterisk after the G, the capital G, because my grandmother was a star to me. So see, it's easy for me to remember. I-A-M, capital G star, H-B-C-B-3. Think of something unique to you. They ask you to confirm the password just to make sure you haven't made a mistake. This is common. If you want to see your password instead of just little dots, click on the image of the eye to the right of the password boxes. This makes it easier. Once you've done, click on Next. It will ask you for a phone number. They will text you a code on your phone, and then you enter that code for verification. Once you've entered it, press Verify. The next window asks you for some personal information, and you will see that it is optional. This information is in case you forget your password. Google would use this information to help you remember. It's probably a good idea to fill these in. Once you're done, click on Next. The next page has the Google privacy and terms of use. As you read it, there is a down arrow to keep going through the document. At the bottom is a button to agree. Click it. It'll take a second or two to load. You'll see a welcome screen, and you enter Gmail by clicking Next. There are a few options available to you before you get into using email. You can see that Google wants you to choose a theme. I'm going to show you what a few of them look like. Let's choose this beautiful scenery and choose Save. I find this just a bit too busy. Let's try that again. This time I'm choosing a light pink. It looks safe. Again, I click on Save. Wow, way too bright for me. I think I'm simply going to choose a soft gray background. The next option is Learn how to use Gmail. If you click it, a box will appear on the right with tips and tricks. Whenever you have time, this is a valuable option for you to learn new things. It's always available to you. Get in the habit of maybe reading 1 or 2 tips each time you use your email. We'll ignore the rest of the options for now and focus on how to create, send, and receive emails. Let's look at the left-hand section. The large button with the word compose is what you click to compose an email. We're going to compose our first email. Click once on the compose button. A box pops up on the right. I find it rather small, so in the top right-hand corner, I'm going to look for a symbol that lets me expand this screen. Remember that if you rest your mouse on something, it often gives you a tip or explanation of what it does. So the first is minimize. If I click it, it minimizes the screen and sends it to the bottom of my screen. It's still open, it's just moved out of the way. This is just like you moving a piece of paper on your desk to the far corner to get it out of the way for a moment. Simply click on the dark bar to bring it back on your screen. Look at the second image. It says full screen. This is what we're looking for. Click full screen. Now we have a large screen for typing our email with all of the options available to us in full sight. An email is essentially what we formerly used to call memos. It has basic parts that must be filled out. First, who is the email going to? This is referred to as the recipient. You need a valid email address for someone, and you must type it accurately, or it will be like a wrong number, and it might go to someone else or not be deliverable. A valid email address does not have www in it. A valid email address has a name, the @ symbol, a domain, that could be Gmail, Hotmail, or Live, a dot, and either .com or .ca, etc. So I'm going to send an email to a friend. I type her address. Then I'm going to click in the section for subject. Use a clear and brief subject. So, for example, if it's her birthday and you want to send her a note, perhaps, happy birthday. If you were supposed to meet with your lawyer and you have to cancel, a good subject line would be cancellation of meeting for June 1st. Be clear, don't just say hi. People who are very busy and have many emails may decide to read only those that have a subject line that attracts their attention. And just a tip, do not type the subject line in all capitals. In the email world, this tells people that you're screaming at them. You don't want people to think you're angry with them. Now we click in what is called the body of the email. This is the section where you type your message. It can be brief or pages long. Before I start typing, I just would like to point out a few of the options available to you. At the bottom of the email, you see a button that says sans serif. Beside it is a tiny downward pointing arrow. Whenever you see these arrows, they indicate that there are more choices available to you. So if I click on this down arrow, I'm presented with a whole range of font choices. A font is a style of text. So I'm writing to my girlfriend and it's a casual note. So I'm going to choose the one called Comic Sans MS because it looks like handprinting. The names are unusual, don't worry about them. Just look at them and choose one you like. Beside this button is one with 2 T's. This is for the size of the font. Click it to see the options. Remember, to learn about using programs, you have to be curious, so get in the habit of clicking a button to see what it does and what options it offers you. You can always just look and not pick anything. This is how you learn. So, I know my girlfriend is hard of seeing, so I'm going to choose large to help her to read my email. If you continue to look at the next buttons, there's a B for bold. This will make the text bold to make it stand out. The next is I for italics. This is text that leans slightly to the right. It's also used to make something stand out. The U is for underlined, so the text would be underlined. The next is for text color. So remember, the downward facing arrow indicates more choices. When I click it, I'm presented with a palette of colors, just like an artist would have. You can see that Google chose a white background and a black text. You can change this by the check marks. If I want, I can change my email to a different background and a different font color. We're going to keep our first email simple. So, just like a paper note or a letter, you usually begin with a salutation or a short greeting of some sort. So, hello Lucy works for me. So I type my message. Now I'm going to end with a close. She's my friend, so I'm going to just say, see you soon. And I'm going to put my name or signature, Lucille. If this was an email to my lawyer, I would close with something like sincerely or regards and my full name. We now have 3 options. Bottom left, send. Clicking this will send the message out to my friend. Look at the X in the top right corner. Clicking this will save the email as a draft that I can continue to write or revise at a later time. Bottom right corner of the email is a garbage can. Clicking this will do exactly that. It'll delete this email and essentially throw it in the trash. Let's hit send. How do we check that it was actually sent? Look below the compose button. You see inbox, starred, snoozed, sent, and drafts. These are file folders to store your emails. Inbox holds your incoming mail. Starred is for mail that you've deemed important by placing a star on them. Sent is for the mail you've sent. Drafts holds the emails that you have not completed or sent out yet. Let's click on Sent and see if my message is there. Yes, it is. If I click on Inbox, it indicates one email. I've received an email from the Google Community team. Let's click on it and see what it says. It's an email with more help and tips. You can leave it there and read it later. I've scrolled to the very bottom of the email and I see 2 options, reply or forward. These 2 buttons do exactly as they indicate. If I click on reply, I'm able to reply to the sender. When I'm done my reply, I'll hit send. If I think someone else should read this email, I would choose forward. This will send the email to a third party. If I don't want to reply or forward and I just want to keep it, I'd simply click back on the inbox. If I wanted to throw it out, I would select it and click on the garbage can icon above the email. It's just like your physical mail you get at home from Canada Post. You either answer it or show it to someone or throw it out. You've got the basics of Gmail now. Remember to use the help section and continue your training on your own. Join us in our next episode where we'll explore social media in the form of Facebook. Social media is a great way to keep connected with others and keep tabs on what's going on in the world. Some people are scared away from social media sites, so let me take you on a tour of some of the simple features of Facebook.